I'm Elisa Fusi, and I am a psycho-oncologist and an herbal medicine practitioner and a molecular biologist too. I've dedicated the last decade to the study of not only cancer but chronic disorders and a different narrative to explain the root causes and how, for example, to tailor different treatments in a person-centered medicine modality. I would like to present you today with interesting research that has been made about how cancer is generated, so the cancerogenesis. In my opinion, there is a big gap, many gaps in modern medicine, especially in oncology, and how we treat and talk cancer. Our current modality in medicine is to treat cancer as a monster, cells that has to be killed. And so it's a war modality, what we have right now. Unfortunately, human beings has proven to be in lack of foresight. And so we don't think about the consequences of the action as we want to fix things quickly, especially if we perceive things as very dangerous or in this case, life-threatening. So the point is, maybe we have the wrong weapons, especially because that's our body. So when we kill our cells, good, bad, malignant or not, we actually disrupting our body too. But let's talk about science. At the moment, there are two major theories that are considered to be true. The first one is the one which is mainstream, is the somatic mutation theory. So it's the theory that most doctors follow. And it's based on the fact that DNA mutations and accumulation of these mutations will provoke a mutation in a cell too, in terms of proliferation. So we can tell that this theory say that it's a DNA issue that we have in cancer, and it's reversible. So we cannot do anything. The fate of these cells is to be doomed. While when we have the tissue organization field theory, which is very cutting edge and has been proven through scientific experiments, but also in vivo experiments in reality, is that cancer is more an architecture issue. So it's about the microenvironment around cells, which is disruptive and create eventually mutations in cells. So in this case, they can be compatible because the more modern like tissue organization field theory says that mutations are the effects of this disruption in the tissues because there is lack of communication between cells. So cells, they behave like crazy cells and they start their survival mode course of actions. And so that's what we consider to be the high proliferative cancer cells. In this specific theory, we consider cancer cells and the fate of cancer to be reversible. That's a very important difference between the two theories, because the key here is the cellular microenvironment, and we can change it. That's the good news. Even in the past, the Terrien theory was considered to be absolutely relevant in terms of origin and genesis of disorders, all disorders. Because when we have this disruption in the tissues and there is lack of communication between cells, what we have is potentially low-grade inflammation and then accumulation of toxins. And so different disorders can spread from this point. So why it's important to point the different theories? Because the first and mainstream theory of mutations, will tell us to panic. Will tell us that we need to destroy these cells. There is no way to reverse them. While the second theory, the field organization theory, will tell us, no, we need to chill and trying to reverse the state of these cells and potentially bring back the microenvironment to the ideal balance. So we are speaking about adjusting and helping the environment around cells to be healthy. So the weapons used in modern oncology are respecting the mainstream theory. And we are bombing, we are destroying our body in the making. An overview of the new, more gentle theory, which is the field organization theory, will tell us that when we disrupt eventually the architecture of these tissues, we can potentially create more damage. So when, for example, we perform surgeries in certain cancers, what we know is that there is an high possibility of creating more cancer cells or propagation, metastasis, and so on. And that's true. Doctors, surgeons, they know that. Now, cancer cells, we know they can reorganize themselves. They work as a unit. So they recognize each other as different, and they communicate, they establish again communication. That's a normal behavior they're living. So invasive procedures in this sense, they can disrupt further the tissue architecture and often provoke relapse. This is what we already know. Why am I telling you that? Because even if it's not part of your belief system, but holistic theory, therapies, they can potentially be fundamental help. They can be complementary to chemo and radiotherapy, more aggressive therapies, but they can assist and support the body and the immune system and detoxify potentially also the body, which has been provoked and has been damaged. So more gentle therapies may be beneficial. Now, it's very hard to change a paradigm. And now we are at this point. Our brains are very much stuck, in the idea that it's all about mutations and we need just to have these strong weapons. But if we just change our perspective, we may talk cancer very, very differently.